Bradley Bowman, who's Senior Director of the Centre on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies in Washington. Bradley also spent the best part of 9 years as an advisor to the US Senate and served more than 15 years on active duty as a US Army officer, and that included time in Afghanistan. Bradley Bowman, thanks very much indeed for joining us. We were just getting some commentary on the views of some veterans from the United States, one of them saying the nature of this withdrawal amounts to sabotage. What's your view?
Well, to my colleagues in the U.S. military who've served in Afghanistan and to our many NATO allies who served bravely there, more than 1,000 of our European allies who never returned home to their families, I say thanks for your service and that your service did great good. We prevented another 9/11 attack for 20 years. We allowed Afghan women and girls to make gains that they had not seen in the history of that country. And so there's much to be proud of. But unfortunately, what we've seen here, the world is witnessing in a vivid and painful display of what happens, in my view, when leaders in Washington, frankly, delude themselves, as I wrote with H.R. McMaster today in an op-ed piece regarding the persistent threats we confront, the nature of our enemies, and our ability to end wars by simply going home. President Biden has implemented explicitly a conditions ignoring withdrawal. He said so on April 14th, that it ignores what's actually happening on the ground, repeating the mistake that the Obama administration made, that he supported in Iraq in 2011. We had to send back troops then, 3 years later in 2014, because of ISIS. But this time, troops are having to go back much sooner.
Yeah, well, we have to wait to see. Obviously, there are troops going back right now, but for very specific reasons. Nonetheless, there is a point here, isn't there, Bradley, about public opinion in the US. They have long been sick and tired of the American presence in Afghanistan, and we might not like the way this has panned out at all. It's been disastrous, many would say, but the idea of getting out is something that many in America would still support.
And that's because there's been a bipartisan failure of leaders in Washington to explain our persistent interests and the threats to those interests. There are 20 foreign designated terrorist organizations still in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region, and most of them still want to kill Americans and our allies. This defeat that we've seen of the Afghan government was done in part with the help of al-Qaeda, particularly in the north. So we now have an al-Qaeda safe haven again in Afghanistan. And by the way, this is going to be a shot in the arm for terrorist recruitment and radicalization around the world. I'm as concerned about that as much as what I'm seeing in Afghanistan as well.
Yeah, it's a very concerning message. Bradley Bowman, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.